Get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We are talking about the religion of woke today, ladies and gentlemen. And this lady right here is the priest, the high priestess of wokedom. First, I'm going to be showing you a clip of JD Vance and Joe Rogan talking about the whole religion of woke. We'll get into that a little more, but I'm going to be showing you her speaking in front of President Trump, JD Vance, the whole Trump family, the whole clique, the whole presidential clique. And my question is, who let this happen? Before I show you that, though, let's start off with this. Then we'll move on to the rest of the stuff. Wild.
Trump, but you don't know anything about the secondary motive. Man, it is weird. It is
the only time
weird.
we don't get a manifesto is when they're trans. When they're trans, they hide those
That's
manifestos.
The Nashville shooter, man, that was crazy.
Have you ever read any of it?
I've read some of it.
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that.
And they
guy,
decide that's bad for the cause.
That's
so
right.
They decided
they decided to suppress it. But no, the Nashville shooter. I mean, just while we're on the topic, went in and murdered a bunch of children at a Christian school because he or she, like whatever, was motivated by some very radical trans ideology.
Yes.
And that is something we should talk more about as a country.
100%. And they didn't want, if there's any other ideology that led someone to mass murder, you would examine that ideology very carefully. It was some sort of radical religion. People would be like very concerned about that radical religion.
That's right.
And it is. It's the radical religion of woke.
Exactly what it is.
It's
That's
this
exactly
weird idea that you are so virtuous and so correct. You're allowed to commit violence against these other people because they're the oppressors, even though they're children.
Well, you know these signs that are in super woke neighborhoods. I'm sure there's plenty of them in Austin. Like, in this house, we believe science is real. No person is legal. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know your religious background, but like I'm a convert to Catholicism. It's like was raised Christian, became an atheist, came back to Christianity, got baptized Catholic like 5 or 6 years ago. And what is so interesting about this in this house we believe is it's so similar to the creed that you declare every day at a Catholic Mass, right? We believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God. And there's almost a similar cadence between the Christian creed and what these guys are doing with this hyper woke stuff. And then there's the rallies. And then there's, of course, the various rituals. And it absolutely is a religious faith. There was this really interesting post that was, I forget exactly who wrote it, but the title was Gay Rights as, what was it? It was like gay rights as religious rights, but the second rights was RITES. And it was a guy who was like a pro-gay rights guy, but sort of made the observation that when you get into the really radical trans stuff, you actually start to notice the similarities between a practiced religious faith and what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I mean, I actually met earlier with a friend who lives in Austin who's like a kind of a gay Reagan Democrat. And he's a very, very interesting guy. He's a fascinating guy. He's one of the smartest political philosophers, I think.
How do you be a gay Reagan Democrat?
I don't know. It's just kind of
what's a Reagan Democrat? Like, how does that work?
I mean, he's basically like now what you would call a Trump Republican, but he's a political philosopher and he writes about economics, right? That's sort of how I got connected to him. I had no idea he was gay when I first met him, but I'll never forget. He sent me something like 6 or so years ago, and it was Elizabeth Warren when she was running for president. And she was like, "We stand for all non-binary two-spirit and all of the like the LGBTI plus."
Right.
She was talking about all the plus, and she was codifying it. And he sent me this text message with this Elizabeth Warren tweet, and he's like, "I don't know what the hell two-spirit is. We just wanted to be left the hell alone." and I think that, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote because again, they just wanted to be left the hell alone, and now you have all this crazy stuff on top of it that they're like, well, no, we didn't want to give pharmaceutical products to 9-year-olds who are transgender genders. We just wanted to be left the hell alone.
Well, a lot of gay guys feel like the whole movement is homophobic, which is ironic because they think that there's people think there's something wrong with being gay, so what you really are is a girl.
Yes.
And they think that a lot of this is being given, these thoughts are being given to gay kids. These kids would just grow up to be gay men, and instead you're getting them to convert their gender.
It's pharmaceutical conversion therapy.
Man, I just wanted to play that. So that's the whole crux of it, this whole religious aspect and the similarities between the two. Because at this point, with this lady, they have converged. She is the one. You know, JD Vance was talking about how there's very similar. She brought them right together. Let's play the actual. Well, first off, just who this lady is, just real quick, okay? Because you just saw like a formal picture of her here. Let's get into who this lady is. Who let this happen in front of Donald Trump?
Why did you want to come out here and send
their message? It is a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who have been under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people, mostly half my age or younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Thank you.
Who let this happen? Now I'm just gonna play. I'll play it from Trump's perspective, because Trump is just sitting there listening to this, and you can just see you can already see their faces. Listen to this.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, Gurdwara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution.
JD Vance's face right away. Just literally just looks at his wife. Just looks at his wife right away. Just goes, "Are you effing serious right now?" He doesn't even say anything. And his wife's like, "Don't look at me, because if you look at me, I'm going to laugh. This is not a time for that." Eric Trump in the back. Don Trump Jr. is like, who's getting fired? And that's my question. Who's getting fired? If you couldn't hear it clearly, let me play it for you again from her perspective. First off, listen, a lot of people aren't going to like me here. Why is it a lady? I'm just saying. It's fine, but also, why? That's all. I'm just saying.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, Gurdwara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
You know, Melania is sitting there like, I thought that was a guy. What happened? This is not a man? Who is this? Who is this person? What are they doing? Why are they speaking? Trump is like, are you serious? I've been fighting these woke people for how many years? I win, I go to church service, and this. My granddaughter's here. My granddaughter's just behind me there. Why, who did this? Who do I gotta fire? Who has to get fired first? I've been signing executive orders. My fingers are sore. And now I got Rachel Maddow dressed as the Pope sitting in front of me. Who's responsible for this? Who's getting fired? Someone has to get fired. Somebody found this clip. Wait, where is it? Somebody found this clip on X not even 3 hours after this whole debacle happened. They found this clip. Whoever was organizing Trump to be at this place, you couldn't look into this person. You couldn't see a name and be like, all right, let me just look this person up. All you had to do is just Google it. That's all you had to do. And now you got this going on. You got this lady, and it's so funny. The religion of woke, you know, Pope wokeina here, you know, the mindset of, and the people who pick our crops and wash our dishes owe us mighty white Americans. Those people who work in our farms and work in our meat packing plants. What do you think of immigrants? These people who are so uneducated that they depend on us to give them money, to give them jobs. Please have mercy on them, please. What are you talking about? The people who clean our toilets because we are oh so a mighty white race. Liberals are always so close, and this is black, white, whatever. They're always so close to sounding like Klan members. They're always so close. It's always this, it's like, it's racist almost the way they talk. It's weird the way they speak about minorities. Black people just, you know, they don't know enough to get IDs. You have to understand this. So let's stop arguing about this whole voter ID thing. Yeah. They work at our poultry farms. You know she's talking about Mexican people when she says that. This is rude. That's just rude to say that about me. They do construction too. They're good with their hands. They know what they're doing. They're not just at farms. Meat packing plants. Like, what do you think about these guys? Come with trades. They learn things before they, you know, not all of them, but come on. What are you doing here? But again, I don't know who allowed. This is a simple Google, and you'll find this person saying this.
We are upset about the fire as well, but that is not our primary focus. Our primary focus is the reason behind, the fundamental reasons behind the protests in our country right now. There is a deep desire for the fundamental issues at stake, brought to light by the murderous death of George Floyd and the countless others that we've witnessed in this long string of
the woke high priestess of wokehood, you know, just bringing you the gospel of George Floyd. He died for our sins, George Floyd, peace be upon him. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? JD Vance's reaction, of course. It looks terrible. Like, of course, he's upset. He's like, is this my fault? He's like, I've never been vice president before. Is this on me? I might have messed up here. And Trump's just like, I'm gonna fire somebody. I'm coming out of retirement. I know that The Apprentice is long gone, but I'm coming out of retirement and I'm telling someone they're fired. Look at JD Vance, just upset. And then Trump actually comments on the whole thing because somebody catches him as he's leaving the service. Listen to this.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon?
What did you think? You like it? You find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I did think it was a good service. No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon?
What did you think? You like it? You find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it?
Not too exciting. What did you think about it? Huh? What do you mean, what did I think about it? You saw what happened up there. You had Rachel Maddow dressed as the Pope. You had Ben Stiller up there doing his best impression of Rachel Maddow dressed as the Pope. They should have known by the glasses. How come Secret Service didn't step in? You see these glasses, you investigate. Everybody knows that. Hey, sometimes you got to profile people, am I right? You take a look at those glasses and you realize, come on, you should know better. Now Trump's pissed. Come on, man, you don't do that. I hope that wasn't the church service that Rogan was at, or else we just lost Rogan. Oh, man, I hope Rogan wasn't there. People are saying Rogan's been going to church. If he was at that, we just lost Rogan. That's it. That's it. Islam's going to get him now. Get ready. You thought Joe Rogan was radical before. You thought Rogan was radical before. We just lost him to Islam. Oh my gosh. I'm kidding, of course. I don't think that was the one that Rogan was at. I think he was there. Inauguration day, there was a church service, and I think he was there at that one. But I don't know how that happened, man. I don't know how that happened. Somebody has to get fired for this. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. I think somebody is definitely fired or is being fired currently. Something. Because whoever let this happen, or maybe it's just like the remnants of Biden's administration. Maybe there's a couple that slipped through the cracks, you know? Soon as Trump got elected, they just went home. They're like, I gotta get this blue hair dye. I gotta get it out. Oh, I gotta go back to blonde. I gotta go back to blonde. Oh. They just take out. They have a little pin card that says their name, says they them. They're like, get this out of here. Oh. Hello, Mr. President. Hi, sir. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about this whole thing. Like, subscribe, turn on the comments. Turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.